Welcome back. I hope you have a nice morning break. Uh, Before starting the OpenRefine version, I would like to explain how to export Excel spreadsheets. What I will do is, okay, I will not share my screen because I have some issues with the software. The idea is you should have something like save as an option, file save as, and you can choose the format that you want. And the format should be CSV, comma separate values. When you save the table into comma separate values, you will see something like that. Let me open the table and I can show you how it looks like. Okay, so when you save it to a CSV, you see something like that. You see for example, the first row are the column names that are separated by commas, and after that you see the data that is also separated by commas. That's why I mentioned before that it's not a good idea to use commas in your data, because in that case it would recognize more columns. That in the case that you have commas, that is a way that is instead of using commas to separate the values, you can use semicolons, or you can use other delimiter. But yes, you need to specify that when you export the file to CSV. Okay, so that is regarding the first part, that is like data management, cleaning using spreadsheets. But now we will see another tool that is more tailored for data cleaning, and is say more efficient, or is you will see this the new features that this tool has. That this is called OpenRefine. Before starting with the lesson, I will copy the okay, in the chat. I will copy the course path. Okay, 1 second. Uh, yeah, there, if you click on that, you will find the. Okay, I will share other screen. You will find two links that you need to download. You need to download the software, and also you need to download the data that the the data that we will use during this OpenRefine lesson. I will share my. Okay. See if that works. Okay, now it works. So here you can find two links to download OpenRefine and to download the data. Please download them. I think if depending of your the latest version is OpenRefine 341, and you have depending if you have a Windows, Mac, or Linux, you can download the software. So it's not needed to. And for example, in my case that I'm using Linux, You download the software and you need to unzip the file, and there is a file called refine, and you should execute that with the terminal, and you will see something like that. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So when you execute the software, you will see that the browser is open with the address, could be localhost or 127.001. 3333 is the port number, and you will see something like that. Is everyone in this website or in this page? Raise your hand if you are ready, if you are in this uh, website. You just see that. So it's important that now we are in the, let's say, in the same page or in the same in order to continue with the lesson. Because what we will do now is once that we have the software available and we have the data, we will create a new project with the data, and we'll see what we can do or not with the data. So if you open the data is saving CSV format, comma separated value format. That this is the format that we will use, yes, for OpenRefine to import data. So okay, I will give 2 more minutes. We'll start at 22:12. I see that some people are still downloading the software and the data, and then we can continue. Also, in the case that explaining this new tool, in case that I'm going very fast or slow, or if you have any comments, please let me know in the chat. Otherwise, I don't know if I'm going at a good pace or I should go faster, slower. So your feedback is quite important to make this course mm, tailor and good for you. Okay, so I will start. The first step is to create a new project with the data that we have. So I have to click, well, we can get the data from different, could be on internet, database, Google data, but okay, the data is downloaded in my computer. So when I click in choose files, uh, a new window will be open, and you need to select the data that you have downloaded. That is the CSV file that is called portal rodent number, etc. So when you click in open, this will change to this name. So you should have something similar. Now you click on next, and they said that the data is uploading. Because my window is quite have a lot of zoom. let's decrease this. You can more or less see the screen, the font. I will make this bigger later, but for now, let me find. So I mean, here on the bottom you have a lot of options, but the most important ones is they ask you the columns how are separated by. Because it's a CSV, is separated by commas. But as I mentioned before, you can use other separators. And here you have a vision of how the table your data will look like. And we can see that yes, looks good. Imagine that, for example, for instance, is loading that way with the tabs. You see, in that case, you see that it's not readable. You don't see a table. You see like a bunch of numbers, characters with commas, and you spot that something is going wrong. And in that case, it's because we select the tabs rather than commas. We select commas. We see that now that data is more readable. We see the names of the columns, content. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, looks good. Also, a feature that is good that is active, but for the course we'll disable that because I will explain how to do that later. Is you find the option that is trim leading and trailing white spaces from strings. Sometimes when we introduce a string, we can introduce two spaces rather than one, or could be spaces at the beginning or at the end of the string. So with that option, you only have one white space rather than several ones, and makes your data cleaner. But for this course, we'll save that. We will see why we I mean we can do this step later on, but yeah, for now we'll leave like that. And okay, here we have a project name. That project name we can say, I don't know, let's call it Edinburgh. And also you can select the tags. Well, let's use Edinburgh for instance. And we click in create project. So it is creating the project. Well, it complains that I'm using a lot of memory, but well, that's fine. Okay, now this is how it looks like. We have on the right-hand side, we have the data, and we have here we have tabs. Tabs. One of them is for facet or featuring, and also we can do undo the things that we have done with the data. Okay, so now that we have done we have created a project. Is everyone okay? Is everyone in this step? If not, please let me know. So what I will do is I will explain what is faceting. Faceting is filtering using we can filter using string numbers whatever we choose to so for instance what we can do is well, let's start showing the how it looks like. I will try to make this a little bit bigger. uh, okay, should be okay. So for what we will do is for scientific name we will use a facet. So for instance, we will choose a text facet. So now you see that on our left-hand side, we have a new box that is called a scientific name. And we have for each entry, we have also the name of currencies. For example, for this one, we have that there are 435 currencies of this entry, and also we can see like the all occurrences that we have. Also, where we see that at the bottom we have a blank, that this is like the yes, the data that is missing on this table. That in this case is quite big, is like 15,000. So we can choose if we want this data or not, and we can remove the rows that doesn't contain the data. So yeah, here we have this face setting, and we can work with that. What we have also different types. We have a numeric, for instance, and but yeah, we'll see them later. What we will do now to see if we are in the same page, we'll do an exercise that the exercise is in the server path that I have showed you before. So I will okay, change the exercise that we will do is this one. So using faceting, find out how many years are represented in this census. And also, well, they ask you because, well, by default, everything is import in text format, but we'll see later how to change it to a number of date, and we'll see later how that makes a difference. And also, the answer is, well, the third question is which years have the most and least observations. So I will do what we will do is we'll give you 5 minutes, and you can type done in the chat when you have done the exercise. So I guess that yeah, also you need to like to see the what this including the data. See, for example, in this case, month, there is a column for month, another column for the day of the year. This column is the year. So with a facet, we can discover the range of years and what is the most recent year and the oldest one. Not sure if regarding your question, the by default, you all the data that is import into OpenRefine is import into a text format. What we will do now, we will change a year, and we will make it a number, and we can, yes, exactly. It's, for example, for instance, to see this to see the number of occurrences for years, text format works better. In other cases, it may work better using numbers, but we will see that it changes, that we get rather than the occurrences, we get the distribution. Okay, so let's solve together the exercise. So the idea here is this column year. Let's do a text facet, and okay, I will minimize this. And you see that we have all years in this list. So we have from 1977 until 2002. And also there was one of the questions that which year has the minimum and maximum. You see here that we can sort by name and also we can sort by count. So let's do that. Let's sort by count. We see that 1997 has the most currencies that has almost 2,500. And the least one is the 1977 that has 503. Also, how does it change if we use another because this is a text, we can change that to number. So the way is we will edit cells, and we have another menu that this is common transformations. For example, for text we have to uppercase, lowercase. We have like a different options, but in this case we will use to number. So when we execute that, working, and they tell you that yeah, this is like the text has been transformed to this to a number. So what is if I click fast? Oh no, sorry, that's no, should be like rather than text, numeric. I will close these windows. For example, in this case, well, it's not a well, we can have like a histogram where we can see that well, this year is like has the most occurrences. We can see this also to filter. We can move this to, for example, we get from 2000, let's say from 1980 to 2000. I can get this range. So you see that the facet change is different. And also you see now the numbers are in green, well, yeah, text is in green color. And the notes that this is numbers. Also, it's well, I can explain this now. We have if I click here, undo redo, we see the steps that we have done. That, for instance, we have for this, we have done a text transfer. We have taken all of these cells in column year, and we have apply a value to number. In case that you are not happy with that, and you say, okay, I would like to keep using years as a string rather than a number. Yeah, that's fine. You click here in 0 to the previous state. Also bear in mind that here we are not modifying data. So we are doing some like, yeah, well, transforming, working with data, but I mean, we are not modifying the original data. The original data is like it is. Once that we are happy with the transformations that we have done, we can export the data that we will see that at the end of this lesson. Okay, we close this. What else? There is also another thing that is called clustering. What that means is okay. Let's create again a faceting by a scientific name, text facet. Let's click here in the button that is called cluster. What that because here in this column we have the scientific name. Sometimes you can type that no, lowercase, uppercase. You can introduce two spaces rather than one. You can have some typos. So this is very useful to see the data and see if there are some occurrences that are like detected have a different occurrences and should be the same. And we have different methods and different key functions. So, for example, here we use well, by default of this method, it detects that is that there are like three different entries. Well, we see that here the text is the same, but the problem is the white spaces that we haven't removed them before, and now, for example, we are getting this trouble with this. But we can change the methods, or well, or a key function instead of a fingerprint, we can use metaphone, for instance, and it's applying in the cluster again. And for example, here we found, okay, we have like three different clusters. If you see here in the second part, we see that the first occurrence is the right one, has like 435 rows, and the two others has a typo. So you see that this has a ends with a IS rather than a US, and for example, this one have a double I at the end rather than only one I. So what you can do is, for example, the new cell value, you can select, okay, I want this one, and you can click on merge. So I think I need to make this window a little bit smaller, exactly because in that case, you can do well, you can do a lot of things, but what we will do is let's do a merge selected and close. And when you do that, you will see now that now we have like the all of them are the same. I mean, we have a update the how we can see that. Also here is explained that it's a mass edit 437 cells in column scientific name. Uh, is everyone hear me okay? I see that there is a message that is okay, fine. Also, yes, please, in case that you see that I'm like mute for a long time, please let me know. You see that the yeah screen is not showing the what is intended. Please let me know. Yeah, sorry, seems that is like okay, because this is this could be okay. I know what to depending when you do okay, when we are here in scientific name and when we click on cluster, there are different methods and different key functions. So depending if you are using one function or the other, you can have different clusters. For instance, let's change the method. Let's use now the nearest neighbor ppm, And for example, here, this method is, well, for this case is the best because, well, the best finds all of these clusters. And you can find that, for instance, there are like clusters has different values, and it is important to choose a value and mm, keep the same value for all of these, because otherwise you will detect different species that actually are the same. It's like the sample that is given in the for the software is when you spell New York using capital letters or not. You are referring to the same concept, but yes, because of the capitalization, you are having the same city twice. Or also if you have like mm, an accent in one person, that is better to like have a look at this and make the data as much clean as possible. Also, maybe you can have different results because you may have like a clean of the white spaces at the beginning of when we import the software. Why I insist in these white spaces? Because, for instance, okay, we have this column, scientific name, and we see that we have at the big is well, rather than checking, we'll check the facet. We see that here on the left-hand side we have a several. I mean, the format is we have two names. That is one is the species and one is the maybe the more specific. What we can do is we can split that in two different columns. How we can do that? If I click in scientific name, edit column, and I can click in split into several columns by separator. In this case, we have a comma, but no, we want to use a space. So we type the space bar, and now I can click in OK. So we see that what we get is a little bit of a mess because I see that okay, for the rows 3 and 4 it works, but for the scientific name for the first two rows didn't work because we have a yes, we have a lot of columns. Why? This is because of the spaces that I have mentioned before. So we see, for example, we don't like what we see, so that's easy. We go to this tab and we undo the last step. When we do that, okay, we see that now we have only one column. Uh, what we will do with this column first, we will clean the white spaces. That in case that we haven't done that before, well, now is a good time to do that. And is we go to edit cells, common transforms, and is the first option. That is trim leading and trailing white space. So if we click on that, there are three cells that are they are not compliant with that with this. I mean, contains several white spaces. This is what they said in the list of things that we have done. That is a text transform on three cells. So if now we divide this into two columns, edit column split into several columns, separator will have a space, okay, and yes, now we see like these two columns, scientific name 1 and 2. and we can also rename this. So any questions so far? What we have seen is we have create a project. We can do some filtering using the, well, now, for example, okay, now it looks like empty because we don't have any more this uh, column. So we have like this split into two new columns. That's why. And what we can do is, okay, let's do a text facet of the first. So we have done some filtering, and also we have done some clustering in case that we find similar values and we want to use these values. We I mean, we usually like have like a common value and don't treat them differently. We can use the cluster function that is this one. And also, if we want, mm, we can differentiate the like divide the split the column into two. To we can rename that to rename that. You can click and edit a column, rename this column, and you can select. For instance, you can select uh, species. But okay, if I do that, we get here a message, an error message saying that it's not possible because another column already have that name. Didn't haven't performed any change, but we can repeat again, and we can introduce another. Mm, I don't know. We can say a species name, for instance. And now, okay, we have the new column name is called species name. It's like a more readable than scientific name one or this. So, yeah, let's move on. So, okay, we have seen filtering. For instance, we can do for the sign. We can do also other. There are other types of filtering available. That is, if we click here, we can do a facet. No, it's the second option that is called a text filter. That what we have here is we can, if we type, for instance, BAI, only this is like we can do a filtering on this like facet, and we see that species that match with that are 46, and is this one. And we can also could be a case sensitive, a regular expression. And in the case that we want to do the opposite, for instance, we have a 46 of these species, but we don't want that. We can click here in invert, and it's like you do the other way around. It's like you do the search, and the species that match with that text that you have introduced are not included in your table. Well, here on the top, you can see that the matching rows and the total ones. So you can have also a view of the rows that are matching with your criteria, or the rows that are not matching with your criteria. So you can include or exclude the yeah, values. Okay, so let's mm, delete that. Also, what else? What we can do is we can sort the species by I don't know. Imagine that we want to sort species by year. Well, the entries, better said, by year. So it's also possible. You can click on year, and here you click in sort. Let me see. Yes, okay, you can see the. So you can sort by text, number, etc. Well, because years in text are fine, we can use text. Also, we can order inverse order or the natural one. And also we can say that the valid values are at the beginning, errors are at the end, errors or blanks are at the end. In case that we're interested to spot errors or to spot blanks, we can move that at the beginning. Like this, we have at the beginning, we have errors, blanks, and then valid values when we sort by year. So if, okay, if we click on that, well, it seems that, for example, this column doesn't have any empty values, and we see that now it's short and display the first year is yeah, 1977. So what else? Uh, Also, it's possible like to have like a yes, you can sort using the different like several columns on what okay, let's do this. Okay, let's do the exercise. We have a sort by years, but would you mind like sorting by months and days as well? And let me know when you're done with the exercise. I will type this in the chat. Also, because we are playing with the data, you may have you may have only different like a different views. Okay, there is a question in the chat that this is why is this sorting just showing 1977? If you not at the top of the here you can show well, what we do is we show only 10 uh, rows, but we can show 25 or we can show 50. And if we click on next, or for example, okay, let's click in last, we see 2002. Don't worry, I have the same, when I was reviewing this lesson, I have the same question that was what happened that when I sorted the data disappears. No, it's because I used this, um, rather than showing all data, shows like a batch of, in this case, for instance, I changed it to 25 rows. So if you want to, okay, I give you 5 minutes to play with the months and years to, sorry, months and days to short data. And also, yes, please feel free to play. And in case that something is wrong and something that you don't like or something that you see, okay, I, I'm not happy with the results. You click here and you can undo or redo or I think it's also possible for, okay, because sort doesn't modify the data. If you want to get rid of the data short, sorry, in that case, data short by year, if you go here, short, remove short, oops, sorry. Yes, the short is gone. And now you see again the first like value 1982. So yeah, this is an interesting question that is when you exactly you should be careful in this case when you short this data. And first is important to, for example, if you want to short in a chronological order, first you should start with the year, then by month, and then by day. Otherwise, yes, it will not look like short in a chronological way. Yeah, this is like a thing that you should remind when you short the data. So in our case, when we want to short less in chronological order, exactly first we need to start with the year, then with the month, and etc. Or in case that, for example, you have let's try imagine that we will short by month, for instance. Okay, a short. Uh, yeah, by month. So now we will have January. Yeah, number one will be the top, and you see that okay, we have here 1982, 1993. I will try to make this a little bit bigger. So we have this. But imagine that I want to, okay, I will sort now by year, and now the OpenRefine detects that is there is another column that is already short. So if we click here, that is short by this column alone, it will sort by this column alone will not take into account the other sorting. So we'll remove the sort that we have done in month, and we'll sort by this column alone, as they said. There is a question in the chat that yes, that also a good point that because we are if you notice we have a select ordering by text. And in the case, for example, for the years, okay, it works because we have from 1975 to say a year until 2008. I don't remember now exactly the years, but okay, we have a range, and that doesn't matter if we use a text or number. But for months, um, is using text is going like character by character. So for example, for months, it doesn't work. So if we want to sort the values, sorry, to sort the column, we'll need to select numbers rather than text. And we can select if it's the smaller first, the larger first. If we select that and clicking OK, we will have the data sort by month as well. So yeah, that's the trick, to use numbers rather than letters, because otherwise the sorting is character by character. So that's why you can find 1, 10, 11, 12, 2, 3, 4. So at the beginning you find the entries that have the number 1 as a first entry. Doesn't consider that 10 is after 9 rather than after 1. Yeah, that's the way that also we need to bear in mind too. Okay, so now we have seen how to sort and filter data. So let's see what's next. Also, we can like change the sorting. As I said, we can do the reverse order, or we can do other orderings. That is what I will do is okay, we'll remove the sort to make this how it was before. And there is an option that actually doesn't work for my browser, but for you may work because we have done, okay, let's gear again. Or well, what we will do is there is a, I think there is a fee. Yeah, for example, this one plot. Let's do this one. Well, let's make this a number. So we can do in edit the cells, common transforms. We can edit that to a number. So we have seen the same for the years, but well, we can, okay, we'll close this to make this a little bit clean. And just to explain that we have different facets. We have the text, we have the numeric, for instance. The numeric was show from 1 to 25. Also, that is that doesn't work for me. You can try and see if the scatter plot facet that works. You see that in my case, I will make this. It doesn't work, but for some of you may work. I think this is because of my browser that this is not. Yeah, okay, yeah, because I'm using Google Chrome. I'm not sure if I think it's the version of my software that is the. But yeah, since that with the. Okay, yeah, okay. So seems that it works with Firefox. Actually, I'm not sure if. Let me try one thing and see if that works. Because I have a Firefox as well. I will try and see if it works. Okay. I wanted to do a scatter plot facet. Oops. Okay, doesn't work for me either. So I mean, it depends on the, but it's not. I think the most important are the text one and the numeric one that you can select the range and you can see. Oops. So yeah, I don't know why the reason behind it doesn't work, but okay. So we have all these like ways to work with the data in case that is like it depends if it's a text you can filter by text or you can do the filter by number using this okay, I will make this a little bit bigger. I will close this. Okay, so we have done this. Well, we have the data. We do some changes, and we have here. This is what I said before. Well, when we work with the spreadsheets, it's a little bit more difficult to keep track of the changes that we have done. We can do this by hand, like having a text file and saying, okay, I move this column from this position to this other. I remove the unit from these values, but it's like a more like more subjective. It's like a more difficult to reproduce. Now you see that well, a lot of journals and in a lot of places they encourage you to do reproducible science. So something that if I get the data, I can follow the same steps as you have done and get the same results. So we can see if when I click here, I see that a list of the actions that I have done. So the first one, oh, well, we have created a project, we have edit 437 cells, we have done text transform, we have divided the column, renamed the column. Again, we have, well, we move to number the plot column. I want to save this for the future to in case that imagine that you have like different data sets that are the same, so you can apply the same to these different data sets. So what is the way? You click on extract. I will make this a little bit smaller because otherwise you don't see the whole screen. Uh, okay, I will click again, extract. Okay, now you see better the. So what it does is in a JSON format, you get all the steps, and also you can select, for instance, okay, you want to keep that, imagine the first step, so you can remove all of this, and you see that this text here, this edit from here to here. So, well, you don't, okay, you can read a little bit what it does, but doesn't matter if you don't completely understand. But okay, so for example, for this, let's have these two. I don't want to keep the split, so I want to do these transformations, only these first two. So the way to do that is, well, we have here the text, so I can copy the text, and we can save the text in a document, in a separate document. I will open a document in my laptop, and I will copy that text. Okay, it's in another document, and now I can close. And imagine that we will mm, how we can do the okay. I will. I think I have it. Oh, I can open a new. Well, rather than open, I can create a new project, for instance. Or well, here I have like all the. I think I did this morning. Okay, I will open this. But you can create another project, or this is just to show you how that works. So here, for instance, I have done like a different things. But what I will do here is I will click rather than in extract, I will click in apply. So you see here now a new window that this is apply operation history. And what you can do is imagine that this is like a completely different data set, well, completely different, that should have like the same format, the same columns, etc. Otherwise, it will not work. What I mean is, imagine that you have a file per year, or imagine that are different universities working together to you receive one file from the, let's say, University of Cambridge, and now you want to perform the same operations for the database, for the file that is hosted in the King's College London. So what I will do is I will paste the text that I have before. here in this paste, and you see that okay, we have like these options: mass edit, text transform, and when we click here, perform operations, we include what we have done in the other project. You see that the name is different. It's yeah, I should have chosen a better name, but I took the default one. And now we see that we have done the same steps as we have done in the other with the other data set. So in terms of reproducibility, that's good because it's a good way to you keep that script and you can apply that script in the future. So that's also the advantages that have OpenRefine, that everything is script and you can keep that. And in the case that you want to publish something, you have that in the you have a you can make the data public, and also it's important to make data script public in order to say, okay, you have this, you have that, I have followed these steps in case that you want to refine the data. And okay, just to finish with this lesson, there are two things that I would like to explain. That is to export the project. The project is by default is saved into the. I mean, the changes that we have done are saved into. But in case that we, okay, let's move to the Edinburgh project. We can. We have a different, yes, this exactly it is mentioned in the chat that, yeah, we need like a copy and paste the script in yeah, using a different, yes, in a text editor in order to keep that. But yeah, this is a way like to keep just a script. If we want to keep everything, let's say, we can export the project. That is, we have here the top right, we have open export. So we click in export. We click in OpenRefine project archive to file. And mm, okay. You see here on the in my case in the bottom left, I have this file export. So if I open this file, well, okay, you don't see I will change my screen. This is called, okay, this one. It's taking some time to switch okay, I will share again. And if you open the file, you see that, well, the file is called Edinburgh OpenRefine, and you see that you have the metadata or in JSON. Data is in the zip file because the original data was 5 megabytes, but this is like a saving 1.6 history. But well, you don't need to understand that. I mean, it's like just to show you that the whole project is saved in this file. And if you want to open the project in the future, you can use that file. Or in case that you change a laptop or to keep a backup, that this is also quite important to keep backups of everything. You have that. Okay, we'll stop sharing and share again And also there is another. What we have done is we have export the whole project But what is interesting to know is to know how to export the data that we have clean enough to a CSV file. So because as I mentioned, it doesn't modify the original data. We need to save the modifications into a new file. So here you see that we have a lot of we have even we can use Excel, tab separate values, or comma separate values. So we have a lot of choices. Oops. Okay, so I see that this is like uh, download Edinburgh CSV, and if we open this file, oops, okay, I click in the wrong. Well, if you open this file, you will see that you have everything, all the fields separated by commas, and you can use that file that is clean enough to, for example, for imagine that for you want to do some plotting using R or um, Python, or you want to create a database with the content. So now you have the data that is clean enough to import that data to the database and to work with it. Um, so I didn't mention that this tool is more efficient or easier that using a spreadsheet. Spreadsheets and OpenRefine are different tools. So OpenRefine is more efficient when you have imagine a file that has 100,000 rows, and Excel sometimes could be a little bit slow, or also Excel is okay, if you have a work laptop, yeah, you may have the license, but in other cases, you may not have the license and use, I don't know, LibreOffice or OpenOffice. Advantages of OpenRefine for cleaning data, that this is like open source, free, and this more efficient when you want to work with several hundreds of rows. Yeah, that's exactly that. When you have the problem, when you have a large spreadsheet, is quite is not efficient. I have a friend of mine that works in a company that has a huge spreadsheet, and I think told me that takes several minutes to load that spreadsheet, and they have like only one laptop to for that spreadsheet. So, for example, this is not, let's say, the best practice to. In that case, you need to use what we will see, for instance, on Thursday. We will see how to use databases. So, for example, that method is better than have a huge spreadsheet that is not efficient at all. So, let me show you the last part of the that this is like more resources if you want to learn more about OpenRefine. I will copy and paste here in this window. So here, well, this is the course material that is you can find that on the course website. In case that because what we have done today is like it's introductory, it's like to let you know, okay, this tool exists, you can do these things, but now it's time for you to play more with the data. For example, for the clustering, there are a lot of choices that you want to use, or you want to see different facets. Also, for yes, you can practice and see how you can clean the data, and also yes, get more familiar with this tool. So here we have the website, the user manual, have a wiki. There are some materials. Well, also you have this lesson, and later you will have the recording in case that you want to go again through the steps that we have done during today's lesson. So, okay, before finishing for today, do you have any questions that you want to ask now? Also, if checking the material, if you have any other questions, or please, I mean, you can ask them tomorrow. So, yes, it's okay. So I see that is no questions so far. So, okay, what we will do is tomorrow we will start at 9:30 with R, and we will see how R works. And yes, we'll start doing some scripting using R. So yeah, thank you so much for attending today, and yes, have a nice rest of the day, and see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.